Okay, hey everybody, I'm Keisha White, and I am founder and creative director at White House Branding Studio. We help professional services firms create a lead generating digital presence that attracts high caliber clients and opportunities. If you want information on working with us for brand identity design and website design and SEO, then you can click the link in the description with this video and you can set up a free strategy session to get started. So, in today's video, I am going to talk all about how to get more leads from your website. And this is very, very important because I'm always talking about how your website should be a part of your marketing toolkit for your business. It should be doing its job for your business by helping you to get more inquiries and helping you to get more leads, which ultimately is going to help you get more clients. But there are certain things that you need to be doing on your website to design it for conversion. So conversion on a website is when a website is actually doing what you want it to do, basically. So if your goal is for people to take whatever action, like whether it's schedule a discovery call or fill out an inquiry form, when you're measuring conversion, you're looking at the numbers of like, okay, based on the amount of traffic that's coming to my website, how many email list signups am I getting? And then with the number of traffic coming to my website, how many discovery calls are getting scheduled? And so you want to measure like the conversion rate there so you can see how well your website is doing. And there are some things that businesses can do with their websites in order to increase that conversion. So that way they are able to get more leads and more inquiries. And I've put together a few slides to go over each of the tips here to show it visually because these are more so like visual things that you would have to be doing on your site. And then when we are designing sites for clients with my business, we make sure we are designing people's websites for the optimal conversion rate to make sure they have everything that they need to get the most actions taken on their site. So to start at the beginning with conversion, when you're I guess when you're making all your decisions in this area, you first have to have clarity on your own business model and you have to know like, okay, what actions would constitute success in my business regarding this website. So for service-based businesses, usually the action that you want people to take is to inquire about working with you. You want them to submit some kind of inquiry form, or maybe you offer like a calendar link and you want them to just schedule a discovery call to talk about working with you. And then typically another call to action. This is typically the secondary one because I typically, when I design for people, I consider the first action, which is the inquiry or call, the primary call to action. And then I consider the joining the email list the secondary call to action. And it's still extremely valuable as a service-based business owner to have people joining your email list because this way you can do what's called nurturing and getting them more and more familiar with your business and gaining their trust over time until they are ready to work with you. Because only, I forget the number, but it's like 92% or so of your website traffic is going to be ready to buy right away. So that email list call to action is very, very important to offer that too, because a lot of times people overlook the call to action to join your email list, but this can definitely increase your website conversion. So if I was evaluating conversion for a service-based business website, I would be evaluating it on these two actions, like how many inquiries are coming from your site, how many people are scheduling discovery calls, and how many people are joining your email list. So you might look at your traffic over like a 2-week or 4-week time frame and look at how many visitors you got out of those visitors, how many calls did you get, how many inquiries did you get, how many email list signups did you get. And if your only call to action on the site is to schedule a call, that's going to make your conversion numbers go way down because they're only going to have one potential action that they can even take on your website. And like I just mentioned, most of your traffic isn't ready to buy as soon as they find you for the first time on your website when you're in the service-based area. So when you're definitely missing out on a lot of future sales when you don't have the email list call to action, in addition to the inquiry call to action. And so like an average conversion rate across industries, this is regardless of whether it's service-based or product-based, but the average rate is around 2%. And some companies perform a little bit higher where they can get up to like 5% and they may be a little higher with their conversion somehow. Some may be a little bit lower to where it may be 1% for them. But if you have a combination of these two calls to action on this site, you can definitely perform around that industry average of that 2%, and you can start to get more inquiries and more email list signups, which are going to lead to future clients from the website. So for like product-based businesses, so you'll know the difference between conversions for service versus products. Typically on the product side, a conversion is considered, sometimes they do have an email list sign up too for like that coupon, which is maybe that 10% off a first purchase or something, could be a conversion for them. Of course, a product purchase is a conversion for them. They're always measuring by product purchases on the product-based side. But for the purposes of this example, we're talking about what is considered a conversion on the service-based side. So for this, I'm going to be giving 5 tips on how to get more discovery calls scheduled or more inquiries, whichever your call to action is, and then how to get more email list signups by doing some strategic things on your website. And so the first tip that I always recommend is to use a navigation bar call to action. So most of these tips are going to center around this top area of your website. Like they call this area in website design, they call this the above the fold space. And this is what people see like in the top of the website when they first open your website up on a browser on your home page. So this is what most people are going to see. Some people, if they have a slightly higher interest in what you do, are going to make it further down the page. But a lot of people don't make it very far down the page, unfortunately. So you want to make sure you are really being extremely strategic in how you use this top space. So that's what the tips are going to primarily center around that. So my first tip is to use a navigation bar call to action, which is basically this contact button, because you can see here how it's highlighted in orange to make it stand out from the other buttons here. So this button really stands out. This is the call to action that this client wanted people to take primarily, which was to contact her to inquire about her consulting services. And so this stands out on the site. Even on mobile screens, if someone was to open up the menu on mobile, the button is still highlighted in that bold orange. So you want to make sure you use some type of contrasting button color in your menu or navigation bar to make sure your primary call to action is standing out in that menu bar. And it's also important to use it in the menu bar too, because as people go from page to page on your website, this primary call to action is still going to be highlighted and it's still going to be at the forefront in their minds, because they're going to see it in this bright color no matter which page they're on your website. So whenever you're doing something like this, make sure you pick a color that's a good contrasting color to the color of the navigation bar. I've done this with other clients where maybe the navigation bar is white, so we may use like another brighter color from their color palette to pop on the white. But for this one, the orange popped very well on the blue for her color palette here. So always use this navigation bar call to action. Make sure it's a specific button color that's going to jump out from the other links in the navigation bar. And then this is very beneficial because, like I said, it's going to follow people from page to page, which is going to help. And then it can be even better too if you do what's called a sticky navigation bar, where the navigation bar will be stuck at the top as they scroll down. So then it'll really follow people around on your website and make it very easy for them to take action. Because one of the biggest things about increasing your website conversion and getting more leads is to make it easy for people to take action on your website. It should not be overly complicated or confusing. You want it to be very easy, very clear what people need to do to take that next step with you. And a lot of times people sometimes miss out on potential leads and potential clients because they make their website overly complicated, and then people get confused about what to do next, or they just put too many steps into the process and there's too many clicks to get to the end. But you want to make things as simple as possible, make it very easy, fewer steps the better, and make it easy for them to contact you, because that is definitely going to increase conversion. So the second tip is to strategically use this above the fold area. So again, I mentioned this area right here is considered above the fold because this is what you can see in the top part of a browser when you pull someone's website up. And so you want to be very strategic with this area. So you want to make sure there's a nice photo in this area that is a high quality picture that will capture people's attention. That is very intriguing. You want to make sure the photo kind of paints almost like an optimistic picture of what your ideal clients could experience from working with you, whether you have to do this with stock imagery or if you get images taken of yourself or yourself and your team helping people, whatever it is, make sure the imagery is relevant to your business and kind of paints that optimistic photo of what your target clients can experience by working with you. And then make sure the picture is high quality as well. Like, you do not want a grainy, pixelated picture making a first impression about your business. Like, that's going to make it look like your business is not serious. It'll make it look like it's very that amateur look when there are low quality pictures greeting people at the top. So you do not want that. You want to make sure at the top there are good, high quality photos to welcome and to make the website feel welcoming and relatable as soon as they see it. And so the second thing to use your top above the fold area strategically is your statement here. So like a headline statement. So I oftentimes refer to this as a benefit statement, because in the headline, particularly on a service-based business website, it should be all about the benefits. Like, you're always selling your target clients on the benefits of working with you. What's the benefits of hiring you for this service? Like, what is in it for your target clients? You need that to be in a quick, concise statement about this length at the top. So this way people can quickly and easily understand, like, okay, these are the benefits of hiring this person or hiring this company. And I understand it quickly. I understand what I can get out of it, because sometimes I see people not utilizing this space strategically, and they may sometimes just put like the name of their service. Because let's say they are like a financial advisor, and they'll just say financial advisor at the top and with no benefits. But it's like, okay, there's thousands of financial advisors in the world. So what can you say about your financial advisory business to make you stand out from everyone else as soon as they hit the website? Because you definitely, of course, want there to be some kind of description about what you do. But at the same time, in addition to a description, you also need to make sure it has a benefit. Because even in my website, I kind of want to show an extra example of this, because that was a client site that you're sharing here. But like in my site here, this is the site for my business. And I have the benefit here: as soon as they hit the top of the site, the benefits attract organic traffic, convert website visitors into leads and clients, and stand out from the competition. That's what I specialize in. And then the type of service that I offer here, we do this with branding, web design, and search engine optimization. So very clear at the top exactly what I do and what the service is, what is the benefit right at the top, because you do not want people to have to search around your website to figure out what you do, or to figure out what is the unique benefit of doing this with your business versus someone else's business. Of course, you can elaborate on that as people scroll down the page, for people who are a little more curious, who are going to continue to scroll down. But as I mentioned when I first started the video, a lot of people aren't going to necessarily scroll down too far. So you want to make sure you're communicating very quickly and concisely from the top of the page. So be very strategic with this area. And then the last little piece in this area is your call to action button, like a button to click on here. So usually for this button, I encourage clients to do their primary call to action for this button. So if their top call to action is to get a discovery call scheduled, or is for people to contact them to inquire, they want to use this area to go ahead and put that button right there. So in addition to it being in your menu bar, you want it again here, because a lot of times when people are landing on a home page, this is all they really see is like this picture, this phrase, and this button. And so you want to make it easy, if they want to inquire right away, for them to go ahead and inquire right away without having to like scroll down the page and figure out, how do I get in touch with this person? Because you want to make it easy for you to people to get in touch with you, so that way it's easy for them to reach out and work with you. So that's how you can use this top area very strategically. This is the area that is going to have the most eyeballs on it on your website, like this top banner space. So be very strategic about how you use it. Again, even in my business site too, I was very strategic with this one as well, because I wanted to put an example of some of the design work, since this is a visual business that I have here. And then I have my benefits here, what I do, and then my top call to action, which is to book that free strategy session. So very strategic, very intentional to captivate that attention that you're going to get at the top of the page, because the top of the page is where you're going to get the most attention when people are landing on your website. And so the third tip to get more conversion is to offer an email opt-in incentive. So again, this is the secondary call to action. So of course, your primary call to action is for people to click that inquiry button or to schedule some kind of call or whatever that is. But like I mentioned in the beginning, not everybody is going to be ready to purchase right away when you're selling a service. So you need to have that email opt-in incentive to get more conversion from that website. So you want to make sure you have this somewhere near the top of your website if you offer email opt-in incentive. So this way, if someone, like, let's say they see schedule a call up here, they're not ready for that, they keep scrolling, then they see like, oh, they have a free guide to help me do XYZ. They see that right underneath that schedule a call, because they know they're not ready for the call, but maybe they're ready for the free guide. That's a much lighter commitment to just download a guide. So they go ahead and fill out the form and sign up for that. So you definitely want to make sure you're offering that, because a lot of times people don't offer an incentive, and they are definitely not maximizing their website traffic and conversion when they don't offer an incentive. So make sure you offer it. And when it comes to email incentives too, I think sometimes people may not offer it because they make it overcomplicated and they think it has to be something very long or very in depth, and it doesn't need to be. And honestly, I advise against that, because even testing things over the years in my own business, I've even noticed that the short, digestible downloads really convert a bit better than like a whole free masterclass or a free webinar, because most of the time people aren't going to finish your masterclass or your webinar. Like it's hard to get people to sit down for like an hour nowadays to just listen to somebody, especially if they are new to your business and they aren't as familiar with you. So you just want to offer something simple and to the point, like a free checklist or like a free step-by-step guide, or just something along those lines. So that way you're able to put it together very quickly, or you're able to get somebody who does marketing for you, or who maybe they do writing for your business. You can get them to write it quickly. And then you guys can put it together and get that on your website fast. And it's also going to get more conversions, because people like a little free guide that they can just skim through and they can kind of read over it on their own time really quick, versus a long hour-long webinar that they probably don't have time for anyway. So do not overcomplicate your email download. Offer a checklist, a free guide, or just anything short and sweet. And for another live, I'll probably talk about some ideas, like more specific ideas on crafting a good, enticing email opt-in incentive that people would find intriguing when they're visiting your site. So I'll probably cover that in depth in another topic. So the next tip is to use an email pop-up. So I know sometimes some people perceive email pop-ups as quote unquote annoying, but they're not annoying. The only time they're annoying is if they just won't close or if you close it out and then it pops back up during that same session of you visiting the website. Like, you should set your settings on your pop-up to where once people close it out, it definitely won't show back up until at least the next day. You don't want it showing up again while they're still on your site. After they close it, it shows up again 5 seconds later. Like, now that's annoying. But if it doesn't show up again until like the next day, it's totally fine. And I highly encourage the email pop-up, because sometimes people, they may miss that little email sign-up form under your top banner area. And then a lot of times I put an email sign-up form in the footer of client websites, so they have something for people to do at the bottom of the site. But people don't always see that stuff. Sometimes they miss it and they may not notice it. So an email pop-up just allows it to be not missed. Like, it will not let them miss it, because it's going to pop up right in their face. And it'll have some kind of benefit of what they can get out of it, short and sweet. And it's a very good reminder of what you offer as an email incentive. So do not be afraid to use an email pop-up, because think of it as just like communicating with your potential clients about something valuable that you have to offer them. So don't look at it as annoying. Just look at it as like, okay, I'm communicating about this thing I have to offer, and I'm doing it and sharing them like a helpful resource that they wouldn't know about without this pop-up, because it's easy for people to overlook things, being in a rush when they're kind of looking at our websites. So a pop-up can help them not overlook something that could be a valuable resource for them. And then I believe this is my last tip. Oh, well, this next tip, I thought I had 5 tips, but I think I have more than 5. But anyway, but our next tip is to use some social proof near the top of your homepage as well. So depending on whose website I'm doing, sometimes I'll have these basically logos. I'll call them like a logo strip that I'll have. Sometimes it'll be right under this top banner area, or sometimes like his, it'll be maybe a section below, one section underneath there. But you want to have some social proof near the top of the homepage for sure. Because again, like I mentioned before, the most eyeballs are going to be in that top area on your homepage. So you want to make sure you're being as strategic as possible with it. And another way to be strategic is to boost your credibility right away. Because when people are evaluating service providers who they may want to work with, they're kind of evaluating, can they trust you? Like, are you really an expert at what you say you are an expert in? What have you done in the past? That kind of thing. So oftentimes clients will have logo areas when I do sites for them, of places where maybe they have been featured for their expertise, or if they're in the consulting space, maybe major corporations where they have done consulting work, they will list those logos there. Or I've even done it for like career coaches who have helped clients get hired in like certain major companies, where they have helped clients get hired at like a Google or something like that. And then they may put the Google logos in the logo strip to show their credibility with how they've helped clients secure jobs in major companies. So whatever you can do to show some social proof near the top of your page through maybe media publication logos, or even company logos that you have worked with or partnered with as a consulting firm, you want to make sure you have those near the top of your page to boost your credibility very, very quickly. And then our last tip, I think this is my last one. Yeah, it's my last one. So for our final tip is to use persuasive, minimal website copy. So with website copy, it is very, very crucial for you to focus the website copy on the website visitor. So you want the website visitor to feel like you're talking directly to them. You want to make sure the things that you're saying in the website copy feel like something that's going to resonate to the target clients that you want to reach, that it'll resonate with their pain points, that it'll resonate with their desires. Because at the end of the day, the website is basically just like a marketing document, but it's on the web. So you want to make sure you're speaking to the benefits of what people want. Like this page here, she has Accelerate Your Company's Next Business Executives. That's very clear right away on exactly what her company is helping people do. It's going to help them train and the upcoming business executives in that company. Then it goes into most organizations, like a pain point here, why they would need her, and let her solve that problem. And then it goes into some benefits here, and then even some statistics to back up the benefits. So this was a very good, clean, concise example of some website copy that goes from benefit to pain point. She also did some credibility here with the companies that have invested in them, or so far. And then going into the benefits, and even some statistics to back up the benefits as well. Because I've had clients where they'll share stats to kind of back up the benefits too. Because it's one thing to just say the benefits, but if you can cite certain statistics and studies that have actually proven your benefits, then those make your site even more persuasive after you do that. So that is it for these tips on how to get more conversion from your website. Again, as a service-based business, your primary calls to action on your website are going to be for somebody to inquire about working with you or to schedule a discovery call. And then that secondary call to action is going to be for people to join your email list. So you want to make sure you're using these tips to be very, very strategic in how you lay out your website, primarily your homepage, and then primarily the top of your homepage. So this way you're making sure you're maximizing the conversion of your website, because your website should be a part of your marketing toolkit. Again, to recap the marketing process I'm always talking about, The first piece for service-based business owners is always awareness. So you want first for people to just figure out that you exist, find out that you exist, and know that your company is even available to help them. And then once there's awareness, then the website is kind of that middleman that's going to be able to do that persuasion, to prove your credibility, to show off your expertise, to explain what you do, to communicate the benefits to your target clients. And then that final piece is the closing the sale, which is however you close sales. Typically, it's through some kind of call or strategy session that you're going to have with a potential target client. So that's typically the cycle. And so you want the website to be doing its job. So this way you can see more sales calls or strategy session calls on your calendar, because that's the whole purpose of the website, is to help you get more calls. And then another purpose of the website is to help you get more qualified calls too, because I have heard things where people say they have gotten calls from people who are not a good fit for what they do, or maybe they're just not ready, they're not serious. And oftentimes, if anybody that I hear who says that, they typically have a very badly done website. And then that's the issue, that kind of like that hang up in their process that's making them get those people on those calls who aren't qualified, or who aren't a good fit. So when your website is doing its job, like communicating clearly about the benefits, it has the proper look that positions you as an expert. It's boosting your credibility right away because you're putting that social proof at the top. Is making your calls to action very clear, very easy for people to notice and click on. Then you're going to get more qualified people who are a better fit for what you do, and you will have more calls from people like that versus calls that are ending up being a waste of your time. So nobody wants to be on too many calls or wasting our time on discovery calls. We want good qualified calls that are actually a fit. So when your website is doing its job in that middle area between awareness and sales call, then you're going to see much, much better conversion with better qualified leads and better qualified inquiries. So hopefully that was helpful. If you want to work with me for brand identity design, website design, and search engine optimization to help boost that traffic to your new site, make sure you click the link in the description with this video, and you can schedule a free strategy session, and we can talk about a game plan for you and for your business and get clear on what your needs are as a business, and then map out a plan for how me and my team can help you out. So thanks so much for checking out this video, and I will see you in